Hey guys, it's Vanity, Ezel by Craft Vanguard, as of Vanity weekly reviews. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and sorry. This time we're covering more reviews from DZ Set 8, along with the long-awaited evolution of Magnolia, who I think is really cool. So let's get started and see what we got and wasting no time. First today we have West Cannon Bolster, grade 3, 200 persona, 13k base. Auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit stands by your card's ability, energy plus 3, and all of your rear guards and combat, this unit get 5,000 power for the turn. Okay, Brandt does have a lot of things that stand. The first two that come to mind are Estacion and Rotovisor, which I mean is cool that this thing gives its calling 5k. The issue is more often than not you're going to boost the first attack because typically the second attack has the chance to be the strongest. So essentially the unit behind this isn't going to get 5k, so there's not entirely full benefit to running this. But if you are running it in Rotovisor, who could technically stand the unit behind it, then there is reasons to run Rust Cannon, but no more than like 2 copies, especially because he does eat into the energy, which is something Rotovisor does actually want to use, and same with Astrum. Moving on, we have Greedy Ticket Vendor Bellerin, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, AK base, auto, and puts on rear guard circle from the hand. If there are 2 or more different card names among your set orders in your order zone, either soul charge 1 or energy charge 1, coolest can get you free soul or can get you free energy. And again, a lot of Brandt decks do typically have 2 different set orders, so being able to get energy off this is great. The only downside is it has to be placed from hand, so you can't just cheat this out via superior calls, meaning you technically only get 4 uses of this in a game. It's not a bad grade 1, but it's not a grade 1 you want to run 4 copies of too, so maybe a 2 of tech, honestly, just for the energy charge skill. Then we have Spectral Dragon, grade 3 10% or 30k base, contains rear guard circle. If your vanguards are grade 3 or greater Bastion, this unit cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects, and it gets 5,000 power, active on player's turn, so your opponent can't touch it, regardless if you're on OG Bastion, Bastion Accord, Bastion Prime, whatever other Bastion they make, and it'll be an 18k base. But combine this with Bastion Accord, well, it'll be a 23k base during both players' turns, which is pretty solid. Following that, auto input on guard circle, choose a grade 3 card with Bastion as card name from your ride deck, and you may reveal it. If you reveal a card or your vanguards are grade 3 or greater Bastion, this unit is 5,000 shield. Okay, 5,000 shield is kind of weak considering other Bastion cards have the ability to get somewhere between 10 and 20k shield, but hey, Spectral Dragon is still pretty solid overall because again, once it's on board, regardless of what your vanguard is, it automatically cannot be retired by card effects as long as it's the Bastion, and not to mention that it'll be an 18k base. So it's not a bad card in terms of, you know, overall board presence. It's just not that great in terms of guarding, but it does warrant a 2 of tech if you do want to run it in Bastion. It also just looks really cool with its rainbow wings. Moving on, we have our new Estacion line. So this is the Stoicheia deck from the Skyride manga, which is honestly really cool. And the deck I built with this is stupidly consistent, which it had no right being because I genuinely thought it would brick a lot. So our starter is Estacion, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto, upon a second draw card, standard starter, nothing special. Unfortunately for this deck, you do have to run this as your starter, but there is good reason for it because our grade 1 requires it, and that is Legend of Chaotic Dance Estacion. A grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto, when replaced by riding from Legend of Uprising Estacion, soul boss 1 copy of the original grade 0, reveal a grade 3 card Estacion as carding from the ride deck, and call blast token to your center back or rear guard circle. So it's unfortunately not an on place but an on road upon, meaning you have to wait until your grade 2 turn to play the skill, but it gets you your blast token. What is the blast token, you may ask? Well, this card is the single most important card in the deck, and if your opponent found a way to get rid of this, you are automatically screwed, and there are ways in the game to actually get rid of this. So the blast token is a grade 0 with boost, 5k base token card that's a blast attribute, as the entire Estacion line and its support cards follow. Represents a blast token, cannot be put into the main deck. Continues rear guard, it cannot be moved to other rear guard circles, and your vanguard has Estacion in the card name. This unit gets all the following. Continues rear guard, it cannot be affected by your opponent's cards. Doesn't matter if it's retire, lock, binding, whatever. Even if it doesn't target it, it just can't be affected. However, if a skill, let's say for example OG with Chaos Breaker, where they could pick a circle, which is not targeting this unit, but it picks a circle and then forces something to be superior called on top of it, well, that would bypass the blast token and F you over, since the only way to make a blast token in the deck is via the grade 1, so keep that in mind if they ever bring back Chaos. Following that, it's act rear guard skill once per turn, put 2 to 3 other rear guards face up as this card's plank gauge and draw a card. So for all of you that played Grand Fia and then thought Grand Fia was forgotten, guess what? Here's Bushy's proof that they have acted forgotten he exists, because the one thing that made him unique, which was the plank gauge, is automatically taken and put into a deck that can actually use it consistently. So yeah, Grand Fia just pretty much got the middle finger here. And then continues rear guard circle during your turn. If you have a grade 3 greater vanguard, all your 4 armor units get 5,000 power for every 3 of this unit's gauges. So that's pretty cool that it doesn't require the opponent to be a grade 3, meaning you can be super aggressive with this deck, and I consistently put 3 cards into my gauge every single turn because the deck can pump out that many rear guards. It replaces one of them with a draw, and then once you hit grade 3, every single time you have 3 plus 5k to front row, which means typically first grade 3 turn you get 15k, second grade 3 turn 20k with a persona ride. So all around really good for numbers, and obviously you want to have this in your deck. Unfortunately, only the grade 1 can make it, but if it couldn't, then broken. Moving on, we have Legend of Uprising Estacion, grade 2 NSF5K shield, 10k base. All when placed by riding from Legend of Chaotic Dance Estacion, search your deck for 1 Vital Blaze Blast, reveal, put your hand, shuffle your deck. So essentially, you ride the grade 1 on top of the grade 0, you get no benefits outside of maybe drawing if you win second. Then you ride the grade 2 on top of the grade 1, the grade 1 then fetch you this, and then the grade 2 then fetches you your order, which is this, Vital Blaze Blast. Grade 2, normal order. I love how the art is actually upside down for half of it, and I say that because I realized when I was playing in tabletop when my camera angle got messed up that the card actually flipped upside down, and then I realized, oh, both cards are upside down depending on the angle you're at. Either way, grade 2 normal order, played if your Vanguard's an Estacion, again, procs while you're a grade 2. Soul Boss 1 to play it, put this card face up as a plant gauge for your blast token, then check the top 5, choose up to 1 unit card with a grade less than equal to your Vanguard, call to rearguard circle, shuffle the deck. If you do not call a card, get a plant token. So no matter what, you get a free unit on board. You either get a plant token or you get something that equals your Vanguard grade, and you are at least getting a plant gauge out of this one way or another. Following that auto, when this card is as a plant gauge discarded during your turn, choose one of your blast units gets 5,000 power for the turn. Arm pretty solid because every single time you drop this, blast unit gets 5,000 power. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't give 5k for every gauge, but on the bright side, if you blast out 2 blasts at the same time, well, it's plus 10. So honestly, it's a pretty good order to have in this deck, so it's an easy 4 of. Moving on, we have Legend of the Fast Chase Estacion, grade 3 to 9% 30k base. I love how he's supposed to be like kind of a 4 seasons dragon, and he has like the wings of the 4th season, you know, kind of autumnish. This is more spring. This could be argued as spring, and this could be argued as summer, but this is obviously the winter wing. Anyways, grade 2 to 9% 13k base. Act Vanguard once per turn. If you have a blast token on your board, when this effect would place a plant token on rearguard circle, you can put it as a face-up blast gauge for your blast token. So Counter Boss 1, call to 1 plant token to rearguard circle, aka get yourself a blast token, get yourself a gauge for your blast token, and then check the top 3, choose a card from among them, put it to hand, and shuffle your deck. And if you have 6 or more plant gauges, look at the top 5 instead of just the top 3. And if you placed your 6th gauge via this skill, you can look at the top 5. All around, that's pretty solid because the card you add to your hand, you don't have to reveal. So you can add a Persona Ride, you could add a PG, you could add whatever you want, and your opponent doesn't have to know about it until it's too late. And again, it gets you a free plant token if your opponent did somehow get rid of your blast token, but if it didn't, it gets you a gauge that could possibly get into another hand card. Following that, Auto Vanguard, when it attacks at anything by ditching 2 plant gauges, search your deck or drop someone from blast card, reveal it, or call to rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and if you searched it. Are pretty solid because it gets you an extra attack without costing CB, energy, or soul. Literally just costs you 2 gauge, which the blast token itself can get you for free, and it gets you a rear guard that you can multi-attack it with either from deck thinning or just superior calling from drop zone. Not to mention the fact that if you blast out 2 copies of this order, well, someone gets plus 10, so while you maybe lost 5k off of the blast token, you're at least getting plus 10 to someone. So Estacion on a very solid grade 3. Initiates multi-attack for literally no cost whatsoever, and it gets you a free hand card for only 1 CB, and also gets you a gauge in the process, so good grade 3. Moving on, we have Rudissa of Spring Sun. The reason why I can consistently bring out a blast token and shove 3 cards into it at once. Great on boost, 5k shield, 8k base, act rearguard once per turn. If your Vanguard has Estacion in the card name, again, proccable at any point during the game. Energy blast 3, call plant token to rearguard circle. So eats into your energy a little bit, but I mean, you're just spending 3 energy, which you get every turn to create a token, and then shove that token into your blast gauge. And then auto rearguard when it boosts if you have 6 or more plant gauge, it gets you 2,000 power for the battle. Okay, the fact that it's a 10k booster is not the greatest effect, but again, this thing is the reason why I can consistently shove 3 cards under this token every single turn, so I don't mind its skill being iffy on that second part, because the first part is really good, so 4 of. Then we have Ignacio Summer Heat, grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base, auto inputs on rearguard circle by a card's ability. If you have 3 or more plant gauges, choose our opponent's rearguards until end of your opponent's next turn. That unit cannot intercept, and it cannot stand during the stand phase, so lock down a unit from standing and prevent it from intercepting, so your opponent has to waste time calling over or standing it via card effects. Following that, continues rearguard to guard circle. If you have a Vanguard Estacion in the card name and a blast token on your board, regardless if it has gauges or not, somehow this unit gets 5,000 shield and 5,000 power, act on player's turns. Pretty solid because it's a guaranteed 10k shield and 15k base once you have that blast token on board, aka once you hit grade 2. So even if you're not constantly spamming down gauges, as long as you have it on board, it'll be a 10k shield, which is nice, and again a 15k that you can swing into your opponent's Vanguard, so it's a solid 3 of in the deck. Then we have Growland of Autumn Dawn, aka the other way you can spam out blast token gauges 24/7. Grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base, auto drop zone when your plant gauge is put during your main phase. If your Vanguard's an Estacion, Counter Boss 1 calls card to rearguard circle. So ditch it for ride deck, or just intercept it 1 turn and call right back. And then auto is put on rearguard circle by any means, whether it's from hand, from drop zone, from deck, whether it's normal call or superior call. If your Vanguard's Estacion, call up to 1 plant token to rearguard circle. Again, getting you another rearguard that you can then send into your gauge via the blast token. So it's a solid 3 of. It can't eat to CB a little bit, but hey, hey, when the main grade 3 is the only other thing that uses CB, it's not really that much of a problem, so take that as you will. And then we have our Sarvalso of Winter's End. This grade 3 is busted. Grade 3 turns out persona at 13k base, auto when placed on rearguard circle by any card's ability, regardless of what grade either player is at, mind you. If you have 5 or more plant gauges, until end of your opponent's next turn, this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent card effects, and it gets +1 critical. This card right here is the sole reason why this deck can only start getting the blast token when you ride to grade 2. Because if that wasn't the case, you could bring out your blast token on grade 1, shove 3 gauges under, then on your grade 2 turn, get this thing into drop zone, get your gauges up to 5, and then play the Azure grade 2 who can look at the top card, send it to drop zone or put it back on top, and then call a grade 2 or greater card, and then this thing would have double critical because you automatically have 5 or more gauges. Because this ability profits regardless of what grade either player is at, meaning you can prop this off on your first grade 3 turn while your opponent's at grade 2 and have plus 15k from the blast token, meaning this thing's swinging for 28k without a booster with double crit behind it. And if you're wondering how consistent that is, I have pulled that off literally every single game I've played this deck. Even the first game I played with this deck where I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I still pulled it off. So take that as you will. Following that, auto rear guard or from hand at the start of your guard step, where your unit with Estacion is attacked, put this card into your drop zone and choose one of you being attacked every time this power of the battle. Honestly, it's pretty solid that not only works from rear guard, but it also works from hand as well. So if you want to drop this as an extra 10k shield, you can. And the best part is it works when your unit is attacked. So if, say for example, your opponent's playing Vermilion and they're attacking both this unit and the Vanguard, because it's technically not being intercepted, you can retire it with Vermilion's attack and then add 10,000 more power to the Vanguard to stop that attack. All around Sarvalso is a very great grade 3 both offensively and defensively. It's super annoying to deal with, and great god if they ever found a way to make the blast token charge gauges faster or call it out earlier, this deck would be busted as all hell. So 4 of. Then we have our new plant token, which is based off of Estacion art, so it's just the standard plant token, grades boost 5k power, 1 critical, take that as you will. Then we have the 3 evil heads are better than 1, a grade 3 normal order, which I swear they only made because they just released Estacion. Normal order should up to 1 card from your drop zone, put both that card and this card into the soul. It's just a free soul charge. Like, I mean, it grabs you 2 cards, there's nothing more to like about it. It's just like a solid 2 for Estacion because you want to have different orders. Following that, we have I'll stick it in for you Korea, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, Oct, rear guard. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Kyrie, shove this card to soul, choose one of your Vanguards and give 5,000 power for the turn. So it gets you extra soul, it gives someone 5k, it all just requires your Vanguard to be a Kyrie. You know, you don't necessarily need this, but I mean, it's a nice generic support card for it in case you're on budget, so 2 of. Then we have Knight of War Convection Festival, grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base, auto when placed on guard circle from hand, counter boss 1, choose a trigger unit from your drop zone other than the over and call it to guard circle. The standard card we've been getting, you only really run this if you need budget or in case your deck really needs that defensive option, so no more than 2 of. And on to our last reviews for the day. First up, we have Dawn of the End Endwing, grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, auto when placed on rear guard circle. If you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard with Vyrgilla in the card name, energy blast 3 to choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it, and auto rear guard when your rear guard with Ezel and his card name attacks. This unit gets 5,000 power to end of the turn, and it contains guard circle. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Vyrgilla, it gets 10,000 shield. So once you hit grade 3, it's a 15k shield, not to mention the fact that it can bind an opponent's rear guard, which is going to be important for a later card, and every single time your grade 2 other unit attacks, it gets 5,000 power, which means it's getting a total of 10,000 power because Vyrgilla can stand that grade 2 rear guard. All around, it's a very solid grade 2. It binds and gets numbers, so what's not to like about it? Easy 3 of, if not a 4 of an Endbreak deck. I mean, not Endbreak, Vyrgilla deck. Then we have our new ultimate skill, quote unquote, and that is Blazing Star Cross, normal order, grade 2. Play this card if you have Vanguard or Vyrgilla in the card name, again, regardless of the opponent's Vanguard's grade. Soul blast 1 and choose one of your units with Ezel in the card name, and it gets 10,000 power for that turn. So that thing that already has a 15k base becomes a 25k base. And if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, that unit then gains auto rear guard when it stands by the ability of your Vanguard with Vyrgilla in the card name. If your opponent either has 3 or more cards in their bind zone, which is why this grade 2 is really good, or if you persona that turn, that unit gets an extra critical. So there's Stardust Blade, which can call things and give the Vanguard more power, and then there's this thing which can give your supporting grade 2 more power and get a double critical. Honestly, Blazing Star Cross is a really good card. My personal thing is that I would use Stardust Blade a lot more because I like the higher numbers, but you can still afford to run this at 2 copies just for that a little bit extra pressure that your grade 2 can again give because it just requires your opponent to be at grade 3. Then we have Flare Cosmore, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. I really wish I could zoom in on the card, but as you can see here, my Discord, never mind, my Discord fixed itself. Anyways, auto drop zone, when your unit with Ezel and its card name is placed, counter boss 1 calls card to rear guard circle same column as that unit, but if that unit was placed by your unit with Vyrgilla in its card name, that cost is reduced by counter boss 1 instead. So honestly, that's pretty solid, the fact that it can essentially play itself for free if that unit was actually superior called by your Vanguard Vyrgilla skill. And then auto back or rear guard circle, when your unit with Ezel in its card name stands during your battle phase, stand it. Cool, not once per turn, so if they found a way to stand Ezel multiple times, this thing would stand with it, but again, it allows for multi-attack and consistent boosting, while again also allowing itself to superior call every single time Ezel is placed, so it's a very solid 4 for the deck because it allows you to do your plays consistently. Then we have our new Artista card, Angelic Echo Lumion, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, auto when placed on rearguard circle. Choose either a grade 3 card with Artista's card name from your red deck and reveal it, or if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater with Artista's card name, Energy Blast to call Shadow token to your rearguard circle, and that you cannot attack to end of turn. Honestly, that is pretty solid because while yes, you can't attack with the token, it still allows you to boost with a 15k booster, and it only costs 2 energy, and the main grade 3 only costs 2 energy anyways, so it's not like you're losing much out of this. And then the second skill, which is a skill I adore, auto when your unit is put on guard circle, this unit is put on guard circle, if you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Artist in the card name, retire 1 to 2 Shadowy tokens as you get 10,000 shield for every single card retired. Honestly, that is pretty good because that means you can kill off 1 token and turn this thing into a 15k shield, kill off 2 tokens, turn into a 25k shield, and the most important part about this is we finally now have an anime representation of what it looks like when a card says that it can be put on guard circle, and its skill would still work even though it's intercepting, which is something I love that Bushy did. So this is a solid 4 for Artista because again it can make tokens and it can also get extra shield really easily. Then we have this card that reminds me of the really buff deer from Open Season at all, like the entire series of Open Season, and that is Sylvanhorn Beast Raikiki, grade 3, 200 persona, 13k base, continues rear guard circle. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard Magnolia in the card name, this unit gets intercept, 5k shield, and auto back or rear guard circle. When this unit attacks, if your Vanguard's a grade 3 Magnolia, this unit gets 10,000 power for the battle. Cool, so when it swings, regardless of what grade your opponent's at, as long as you're at a Magnolia, it's a 23k swing from back row, and once you're at Magnolia, it's an intercept with an extra 5k shield on top of it. Honestly, not a bad grade 3 at all. The best part is this unit can be placed in the front row for that intercepting, so if you have better units you want in the back row, you can use those instead. And just all around good for offensive pressure, but also just good for a little bit of defensive too, so it's a solid 2/3 for the new Magnolia. That takes us over to Sylvanhorn Beast Vodiar, aka Magnolia's specific Inlet Pulse Dragon. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, auto rearguard when this unit attacks on anything. If you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Magnolia in the card name, until end of battle this unit gets 5,000 power and your opponent cannot intercept. So cool, it can lock down your opponent's intercept on a possible 15 to 20k swing. Not to mention that ability can be procced off while it's in the front row. And then a second ability, which is even better, auto rearguard at the end of your turn. If you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Magnolia in the card name, if you attack from your back row this turn at all, show this card a solo draw card. Again, really solid because that means this unit can be in the front row to proc off both of its effects. So if you have a full back row of like choice cards that activate from back rows, such as Rigiki over here and let's say 2 Gun and Solas, you can afford to put Voidasol in the front row and his abilities will still proc. Again, locking down intercepts, and as long as you attack at all from the back row, regardless of how many times it is, you can send it to Soul at the end of the turn to draw a card, basically being a new Inlet Pulse. Alright, I love this grade 2 a lot. I think it's super amazing that they made this for Magnolia. It's an amazing support card, so easy 3 of, if not a 4 for Mag. And then we have our new Magnolia, who we've obviously been waiting for a long time now, Sylvanhorn Beast Emperor, Magnolia Patriarch. Grade 3, Twin Drive, Persona Right, 13k base. Auto when placed on Vanguard Circle, choose up to 1 Sylvanhorn Beast card from your drop zone, call it to Vanguard Circle. Cool that it can grab any Sylvanhorn Beast, continues Vanguard. If your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, all of your rear guards can intercept from the back row, and this unit gets 5,000 power. And if you Persona Road this turn, it gets a drive, and it's active on both players' turns. So that's great. I misread. I said this unit gets 5,000 power, those units get 5,000 power, but cool. It can give the entire back row the ability to intercept, and it gives them all 5,000 power consistently. So this is now a 28k swing on its own, which is amazing. And again, it can intercept, and if your Persona Road has triple drive as well, so it makes your rear guards a little bit harder to hit, and it gives them intercept. And then act Vanguard once per turn. By counterblasting 1, choose a number of your rear guards up to the grade of your opponent's Vanguard, and they get continuous Vanguard. This unit can attack from back row to end of turn. Downside is, unlike the Magnolia Elder, this thing still does cost Counterblast to, give your units back row attack. On the upside, guaranteed, because you're not going to be cheat superior riding this thing out while your opponent's at grade 1, you always be using this at least when your opponent's at grade 2, so at least 2 of your units will be able to back row, possibly 3. And because it chooses, you can use some very old cards such as Sylvanhorn Beast Danimaru, who gets 5,000 power when it's chosen by a Vanguard ability. Alright, I love Patriarch a lot because it's actually a mix of OG Magnolia skill and Magnolia Elder, because it has Magnolia's Elder's ability to superior call something to the board, albeit from drop zone instead of from soul. It has the ability to give them all back row interceptability and 5,000 extra power during both players' turns, and get triple drive, which is exactly what Magnolia Elder would do, and not to mention the fact that it can still multi-attack with the back row, but specifically via counterblast, like OG Magnolia does. Alright, Patriarch, Amazing grade 3. Allows for consistent multi-attack for only 1 CB. Has triple drive just by persona riding and gives all your units 5k in back row intercept just by your opponent being at grade 3 in general. And on the mention of that it can fetch you a Sylvan Horn Beast just by being placed, so easy 4 of. And our last card reveal for the day is Sylvan Horn Beast Cornedet. Great tuners of 5k show, 10k base. This is an axolotl question mark or just a really cute squirrel. And auto drop zone when your grade 3 greater Vanguard of Magnolia and his card name is placed, perform one of the following. Either if you do not have a copy of this on board, call to Vanguard Circle and your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 Vanguard gets an extra 5,000 power, or put it to Soul and choose one of your Vanguards, and that cost of that unit's original active ability is reduced by counter boss 1 for the turn. Honestly, pretty solid because it either guarantees that your Patriarch is going to be free for a turn so you can spam all your CP on gun and Sola, or it just straight up gets you a superior call and it gets 5,000 power. All around, Cornedet is a very great grade 2 support card. I don't think you need more than 3 of it though, because there are turns where you're not going to route obviously and you could whiff a persona or something like that. So maybe 2 of, maybe 3 of, but definitely a good support card for Magnolia all around. And without further ado, that's it for this one. Hope all of you guys enjoyed. I cannot wait to test out Magnolia Patriarch. I've waited a long time for this. So I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us for Twitch, and don't forget to set up your Vanguards.